She Is Serious, a podcast where we showcase female athletes and their impact beyond the game. Each week, we will be bringing on influential women in the world of sports and showing why they are so much more than athletes. My name is Taylor Hall. I'm a health and fitness influencer and collegiate athlete at Biola University. And this is my sis, my co host, Ashley White. What's up, girl?
Hey y'all, hey, my name is Ashley White, a former student athlete manager for UNCW's women's basketball, a blogger, writer for Beautiful Ballers, and an advocate for women in sports. Thank you for tuning in weekly to She Is Serious podcast. And this is why female athletes are now to be taken seriously. Hey sis.
What's up, Ash? How are you doing today, girl? I'm so excited for this episode, Tay and Ash special. I'm gonna get down with business.
Of course. How can you
Yeah,
not?
baby.
Be ready. You gotta stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
Hey, that's one of my favorite quotes. That's what I'm saying. Hey, April's a special month. You want to tell them a little bit about why this month is so important?
Well, we got a few things about this month besides it being my birthday month. April
Period.
is Autism Awareness Acceptance Month, and also April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Those two specific causes are near and dear to my heart since I actually experienced those two things in life. So, and it's been very just, I would say it's a journey, to be honest. To, like, just, it's a journey, but every, but it's a trial and tribulation that I end up would say would lead to a testimony, you could say. So, yeah. So,
That's just, that's, I mean, so many girls go through these things, and it's definitely like way more people than it should. But Ash, can you kind of speak to, like, why do you think that this happens so often? Because I don't know the exact stats, but I feel like it's pretty high. And these things like sexual assault should not be happening. And we definitely need to make it a thing that we can talk about and bring together a community because I know a lot of women go through that.
so for me, I would say from my experience, I've actually shared this on ESPN's E60 since they did a whole episode on student athletes with disabilities who were sexually assaulted. So I was interviewed by Jeremy Schaap, who happens to be the son of Dick Schaap, who was part of ESPN writing, and he wrote a book um, later in his life. What a lot of people don't know is that sexual assault and awareness, sexual assault and harassment is very, very high, but sometimes it is very hidden. It doesn't get reported because a lot of reasons. Sometimes you are, say, if you say something about it, you're either going to get, threatened and to where you have to recant. Another reason is some people, unfortunately, there's been history where people have lied about being sexually assaulted and have put innocent people away and doesn't bring the real justice to those who have experienced it themselves. Um, but for me, I would say, um, this actually happened when I was on a basketball team with majority of males, and I was really the only girl on the on a predominantly guys team. And it was a travel team. So, but they had a couple girls, but they weren't considered, I guess, to this person, they weren't considered fully committed. But I would go be at practice and games, be at practice 7 days a week. Just I will say this though. Um, the a lot of people I've gotten asked, why do you think it happened to you? Honestly, I could never answer. I don't. I've gotten this question the other day. Why do you think this happened? I honestly can't give like I don't. There's I feel like that to me there's multiple reasons, but I feel like um I realize, and this is what a lot of people don't understand too. You gotta be aware of people who are your surroundings, because some people like to take things that you really love and try to weaponize it. So like um when I was sexually assaulted by this coach, he knew that I love God. He knew that I love basketball, and I was big into God. Like I was big in my faith of saving myself till marriage. You know, that's what I was taught: saving yourself till marriage to be with the right person and all this stuff. And of course, I love basketball. I wanted to play college, and um, I was always the last person when like in tryouts. I was always the last person to be cut. Like make it all the way to the finals, like the final part where you see who makes the team. And I was always the final person that got cut, just like so that's why I'll always go to the practices just to do better. Unfortunately, by the time I was 16, that's when like everything went kind of like crazy. Um, so in laws of North Carolina, the age of consent is 16. So, um, so I realized and the fact that I remember every detail, everything about this whole situation. That's how severe it was.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like, when I tell you, I literally had to tell every detail, like explain everything on ESPN about it to like, just it's just crazy. Like, and I'm not saying crazy like a good thing, but it's like really like, oh gosh. It just happened throughout the whole summer of 2008. And I was just ended my sophomore year high school, and then of course I was, like I said, I was the only girl that was really committed to playing, practicing, getting better, wanting to get better, wanting to be the best player on that team. Of course I was a
Right.
girl and stuff, but playing against dudes, practicing against guys, that was something. Like I was always competitive. I had to be rough around the edges, like just not take a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
um, I couldn't hang around with the guys, like even like say, so here's a court. I had to be in one side while the other guys would be this side. So if the guys were coming this way, I had to go the other court. So basically, I was isolated. So basically, like the coach had made me isolate, had to isolate, basically isolated me from the other folks. So like I couldn't practice with the guys unless
This is
we were.
after the incident? This is
This
after the
was
incident happened?
this was during the incident. So like nobody. Here's the thing: none of the guys on the team knew about it because if I had said anything, basically, this is what a lot of people don't understand. So, um, so like even when I was practicing, I was still getting like salted. So like,
Mm.
so of course I had to put this happy smile face like nothing happened, but behind closed doors, every day knowing, oh, something's gonna happen because I was, you know, I really wanted to play and stuff. And I couldn't say nothing to anybody. I couldn't even say anything to my parents, my family. And a lot of people like, "Oh, why can't you say anything?" Well, I was threatened. If I said anything, if I said anything, if I told anybody, like if I said no to this person's advances or no to like anything, I'm getting kicked off the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people like, really? Like, yes, like it's easy for so many people to like really like judge folks like so quickly about it. Like I wanted to be part of something. I wanted to be feel belong in a place where I could be, you know, do something that I really love to do. And a lot of people didn't know that. And of course, you know, I'm 16 at the time, and according to a couple folks, like, people there, it's like I'm 16 was the 12-year-old mind didn't know what was going on. Like just, some people have a mind of a 12-year-old, maybe 16, but have a mind of a 12-year-old, like trying to figure out something. But like for
But
me,
you were
it was,
aware. You were aware what was going on. But you just didn't
yeah,
want
I
to say
didn't.
anything. Is that right?
So I didn't know at the time. Like I didn't know if it was, to be honest, I didn't know if it was normal or anything like that. That's the thing. Like, but like it kind of clicked in my mind, but I just couldn't say. The thing is, I couldn't say anything when it's someone threatening you to tell you, "Oh, if you don't sell me out, I won't sell you out," or
Yeah. People don't
uh,
understand, like, when you're in an abusive situation, you can't just really speak up in that moment because as easy it is for people to say from the outside, when you're in it, like, you really feel like this person is gonna destroy you in your life. Like, I know that I went through that with an abusive basketball coach, so I'm assuming it's the same kind of feeling.
so it was a basketball coach, and this basketball coach had a whole wife and like two grown kids,
Oh my
and
gosh.
um, and like to compare in the fact that he twisted the word of God. I was like, wait, what? So comparing like what he and I were doing or something, was he compared that to, like, say, Sarah and Abraham from the Bible, which was not the case. Like,
Right.
this man is 61, I'm 16. And this man is 61 doing this stuff to me, and his wife was sick and talking about like all this stuff. Like, it happened throughout the whole summer. And like I said, I couldn't say anything. I was
Just
like,
sick. Just
I,
sick.
I was, I couldn't say anything because I was like, like I couldn't tell my family. Um, so, um, so what was crazy is that, how my folks found out about it was first day of junior year in high school. First day of junior year high school. I'm like, yo, I got one more year left. Like I was close to being a senior.
Right.
Next thing I know, I get called to the office, like thinking, oh, I'm getting picked up early. Bet. Like, and also it's like, oh yeah, I got basketball practice to go to because usually I was getting picked up to go to basketball practice. Next thing I know, I go in the office. Oh, shoot. It's the sheriff's office. Oh, great. I was like, what did I do? I didn't do nothing wrong. But
Right.
I was like, just like, I don't know what happened. But then I saw the stuff that they were holding up, and I was like, that's the stuff that this person made me hold, like, gave me to, like, just stuff. And it was like, the crazy thing, it was like the financial stuff that, and it was, to be honest, the whole wake up call. Cause I had to be like, when you finally realize that you become a victim, that you realize you are a victim, it kind of like shutters your whole, it kind of, you get in total shock. And like, basically, I felt like I was in a whole denial, like, no, 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 they need to not, no, no, no. But
Mm.
I realized I was in total shock. I was in denial myself, like, I really did get raped. And I didn't even think of it. Like, what I wanted to do was just play. I just wanted to do better in, my basketball. I just wanted to do better. I just wanted to play. Like, and I
Yeah.
felt like this was what I was doing, what I was getting out of, like, what basically. Like, and the thing is too, um, North Carolina wasn't the only place that I was raped in too. So like, um, that's why I say the age of consent in North Carolina is 16. So, um, the key thing I always remember when every time explain this story is this man said that I couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything when you're 15, but now since you're 16, I can do whatever. So basically, basically what he told me, he premeditated everything. He knew what he wanted to do,
Oh my
and
God.
and he knew I was autistic too. After I blurted out, I have autism in front of the group, kind of learned. So he knew that too. And then, a couple times when me and the team traveled up to New York. So the second time we traveled up to New York, of course I was the only girl. Once again on the traveling up to New York. But this time we didn't have our family go with us, so it was just the kids. So it was just me and the team and the coach. So, and all the kids, all the rest of my teammates had to stay in the basement. They slept in the basement. I slept in one room, and the coach was going to sleep in the computer room. Say he was going to sleep in the computer room working, and this was at the coach's brother's house, family's house, whatever. So this whole time, I'm thinking I literally like told the grand jury about this too. That literally, and I explained, the whole situation too at the place too with the interview, I believe, with ESPN. This man lied. This man lied about where he was sleeping. This man literally, he was saying how he locked the door in the basement where the kids, my other teammates were, so they couldn't go out and like say they had a shower. Basically said, "Oh, the shower's broken. Shower not working." But shower was working because this man made me go shower.
There are some crazy people out there. That's
Yeah.
so insane, Ash. What did you do when you finally came to the realization like, "Oh my gosh, this is like crooked, this is crazy. I'm really like going through this." How were you able to voice yourself and then how were you able to like I guess overcome it? 'Cause this is like insane.
So, um, okay, so I just got out of the hospital because like I said, I was in shocked. I was in denial about things. Like I still couldn't believe it because I really wanted to like go back to practice and stuff. Because it's like, no, 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 it can't be true. No, 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 no. Like all this stuff. Like so, got out the
Yeah, and you're
hospital.
only
I was only 16. I'm still a child I mean, parents, of course. I'm still a child. You know, but
absolutely, yeah.
went home. My whole what's it called? Went home. Of course, like I found out that like my room was redecorated, everything. And when I got home, I just kind of had like I just blurted out, had like a meltdown, all this stuff, just got screaming. And my sister was in the other room or was nearby, and I was like, I don't think I could sleep here, mom. I'm like, mom, I got raped in this room, too, at this house. Like, and um, when my sister heard it, I later found out that like when after she found out, heard me say something, she threw up. Like it literally made it sick to her stomach. And I was like, "Oh, great." So I felt like of course my high school experience took a whole turn. I did not homeschool, but like homebound school, basically like had a tutor to get the work, and I just do the work from like say inside of a church or inside of a room or whatever. But I didn't go
Mhm.
to the school. But the work was from the school. But and then I transferred to schools. So, but it was I would say yeah. When I found out he got arrested, I was in class. Found out he got arrested, but I was still shaking and in shock because the fact that where he stayed at was literally a block away from where I was going to school at. So, of course, I felt like, people were going to talk. And at the time, I don't think anybody knew who this girl was that whoever this was. And I just felt like none of the people at the high school really, where I was at the moment, just, of course, years later, I knew they weren't gonna, help me. They weren't gonna understand me. They weren't gonna do nothing, to be honest. I mean, they didn't want to help folks with people with autism anyways, like me. So what makes them, what were they gonna do? The fact that, like, everything. So, honestly, it took a while. I mean, um, I know he served more time. I know he served more time in New York because the consent age in New York is 17 and I was 16. So he served more time in New York and then I realized he came. But my thing is every day I try to I can't I hate when people when I've gotten over where people say you got to get over it. I hate that phrase. I really do. Just because it's like, there's days I try to get over it, but there's days where like it's a lot of people don't understand. Um when you've been abused, you start to have flashbacks of things that you feel like it's going to happen again. It's real. It's surreal. So there's times I have flashbacks from this type of stuff. And um I know when my episode of ESP and E60 came on and everybody tuned in that I knew everybody was shocked like what? Like this girl's happy all the time. I would have never expected this. Like, yeah, I'm always smiling and all that stuff. Like sometimes you never know, but it's just um I would say it takes day by I mean, I'm 30 now, about to be 31 in April this year. And I know I'm probably gonna get like, so why do you still think? I would say this, and I've said this. A part of me, when it first happened, it died. A part of me died that day. A lot of a part of me died when it first happened because I just wanted to be. For me, I wanted to play. What I wanted to do was play ball. I wanted to learn about ball. I wanted to do better and get better so I can say like play somewhere, like
Mm-hmm.
play overseas. But
And basically this guy was telling you, hey, if I do this and you keep it on the DL, then I'm going to help you reach your goals. So it
it's
kind of manipulated you.
basically like, but of course, none of the guys on the team knew about it until like later once they find out that this coach got arrested, but they didn't know who this girl was or whatever. So
So
until
did you feel like during this time that you were going through this, did you have any support from anybody like after it came to the surface, or did you kind of feel alone in the process?
I mean, besides family, um, um, probably later with folks that say that were former teammates that did play with me, but they didn't like say um that I know a couple people were very supportive because they like also in a way they kind of had a feeling but they didn't know what to do or what to say. Not like they had a feeling that this person was like preying on me, but they didn't know what to say or what to do. And basically the ones that was like that I used to see a lot. Um like I know two people that were like, that were really good that I was kind of close to. That of course they got kicked off from the team by the coach because
Mm-hmm.
they realized, I think in a way I realized that the coach was kind of, they had a sense that, I felt like they had a sense that the coach was up to something that wasn't good. And I feel like the coach kicked them out because they're like, I'm not going to have them destroy what I was going to do or plan.
Right.
So, um, so it was like, I could cut these people off and have them out the way. So,
Isolation.
yeah. So, I mean, I was isolated throughout majority of the thing. Like I said, I couldn't they like the only time I would play with them was during like games, which was a games, but like say we would go out in a park and play against like the local folks out at the park. Couldn't play with them, but the other folks would. So
Oh my
like
gosh.
it was just like, I mean,
So,
I only
Ash,
played a couple times a little bit, but I mean,
so over time, do you feel like talking to people and just kind of letting your emotions and your voice be heard helps? And is it easier to talk now than it was? I'm sure easier to talk now than it was back then. Oh, you said you get flashbacks. Of course, when something traumatic happens to you, you're always going to get flashbacks. But are you at peace with it now and kind of like, all right, I'm a bigger and a better person and I've overcome so much in my life. Does that kind of empower you or how do you feel now?
I will say this. Um, a lot of people don't know this, but um, there's been a few times like this type of situation, like when what happened to me, it almost led to me being killed. Like when I say being killed, like I almost died, like not only from it, but the aftermath of it by basically saying I basically just wanted to like basically I there was times where I had thought about like, let me just write me off, just not live no more. Because
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, I didn't feel like, I wasn't gonna be worthy to live anymore. I didn't feel like I was gonna be worthy to be loved no more or worthy to be taken serious and not, because I in this honestly in this world these days, like as a girl, as a female, like, you want to, um, of course, I always want to hopefully be married and have kids one day and just like have that guy that look at me like, you know, I understand she's been through a lot, but she's still like someone that
You
I want to,
are.
yeah. And it's
You
just
are
like,
worthy.
and it was just like, it takes a whole mental. It like when I tell you like in it, I've had more like I've began to have like anxiety and panic attacks from a lot of things. And then and I soon realized I have PTSD. And I've had PTSD since I was 16 because of when I was raped. And a lot of people think, oh, PTSD, you only get it from war. No, ma'am. No, sir. You don't. That's not just it. You don't have to get PTSD from just war or in the
Right.
military, but you can get it from like say if you've been abused or if you've been like you witness something that triggers you. So there's been things that like well, I say it gets easier to explain. I'm very reserved on how explaining it just because say like um folks are very judgmental. I realize a lot of people are very judgmental like when it comes to this type of situation. Like people are like, well, the first time, why didn't you say nothing? I'm sorry. Was I supposed like you don't think I did you
Like,
don't
have
think
you
I
gone through it?
Like I
Exactly. Like
don't
I don't think people understand. It's really a toxic environment and unless you're in it, you don't understand. So it's easy for people from the outside to say, but when you're actually getting abused, getting raped, sexually assaulted, you can't say anything. And
you
I've heard
can't.
this, yeah. And I've had a couple friends that have been in the same situation. And for me, my first reaction is like, well, why didn't you say anything? Right? But then I have to rewire my brain and be like, oh, wait, this is a traumatic situation. And obviously, in the moment, you literally don't know what's going on and you can't say anything because you feel trapped, I'm sure is how you felt.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like, who's been your biggest supporter through this all? And who do
Ooh,
you feel most comfortable talking to about this?
dag. Yeah. Well, I mean, my family. I mean, I know my family has kind of like, of course, supported me through it because they were the one that basically like um found out about it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
my stepdad actually and my mom opened the door about it. So like, but I would say a couple people. I would say like a couple people. Um, I know first of all, I know God. Like that's like I would say I wouldn't be living here without God because like a lot. I know like I try to like I said like I think like I've always my always thing is you can turn your trial and tribulation into a testimony. Well, God can turn your trial and tribulation into a testimony and your struggles into salvation. So, um, I just,
Period.
yeah. So I would say like a lot of people like this is why I say, um, like I say, I learned to be very cautious and be tried to be very kind of observant because in this in this world in today's society, a lot of people are not very um open-minded about two things that I have. They're not very open-minded about people with say a mental disability like autism. I feel like they're not very open about it. They think it's like, oh, is that a disease? No, it's
Mm.
not a disease. Um, and they're not very open to very welcoming, open about sexual assault victims because they're always gonna say they're always gonna find a way to blame the victim. And I know I got blamed before of what happened to me, and I literally, literally when I and it's from someone within my family that got blamed. And later, years later, I confronted them about it, and then they, of course, they said they were sorry, they didn't mean it, and that they felt terrible ever since they kind of spewed, said it to me. Um, so,
I feel like Ash, I just I just hate that you haven't been able to like find a community of people to talk to this about because it literally happens to so many girls. I had no idea because like it'll come out randomly in conversations with a couple of friends that I've had. I'm like I had no idea. Like I wish you would have told me, but at the same time I understand why because you feel like you're going to be judged and you feel like it's not like it's not a cool thing to talk about or but it's just I hope that more women can come together and people that have gone through this and I know like especially like the a couple years ago when the gymnastics coach who was sexually assaulting all of the girls on the USA gymnastics team and it
yeah,
finally came to the surface.
the trainer, Larry Nasser, he was from
Yes.
Michigan State, and he raped like over hundreds and hundreds of the gymnastics, including Gabby and Simone and Allie. So including
And
the
they
ones
didn't even say anything for the longest time because it's like they didn't want to talk about it or stand up because they didn't know that everyone else was going through it. And it's like you don't know what you don't know. So you don't want to talk about it because it's like hush hush. Um, I think it should be more. I don't know if the how would you say it? Like I think it should be more accepted to talk about. I think it should be talked about more. I think it should absolutely be a topic that we squash and we discuss, especially as female athletes. I think there's a lot more of this that goes behind the scenes than we realize with female sports. Puts us in a kind of a vulnerable situation.
Yeah.
Um, and absolutely, this needs to be stopped. This is just it's a traumatic thing, a life-changing thing. And if we have a community of people that can uplift each other instead of bring each other down and judge one another for these situations, then it's going to make it easier for people that have been victims of sexual assault to overcome it. Like you, Ash, and I'm sure that you could attest to having a community would make it much easier for you to feel a sense of empowerment. Like, dang, I'm so much stronger because of this, and not kind of put you in this like it's not a good place, you know?
Yeah, it's just, takes it just takes a lot. I feel like it needs to be it's I feel like it's a stigma that needs to be debunked. It needs to be like there's a lot of things that needs to be debunked about like different myths and stuff. And I like I say, I always be so like for me, I always felt like me telling my story or a specific part of story is like, it can't be that interesting. It can't be that telling. It can't be like, you know,
No, and I'm always like, Ash, people want to hear your story because it's so crazy, all the stuff that you've been through, and it's really cool to see where you are at now. But I think that a lot of time, like, we don't want to brag about ourselves, I guess. Like, it's cooler
yeah.
to hear other people's stories. Like, I know both me and you are kind of that way, but your story definitely needs to be heard because it's definitely gonna it's shining a light on these things that need to be broken down and the stigma needs to be addressed.
I think a lot of it's just, um of course, I'm it's not every day anybody meets someone like me who's autistic and has PTSD, but also like, you know, um I try to find a way like how I can be hopefully a light to somebody. Hopefully hopefully I always say aspire to inspire because I have always, I want to be able to like say if I can be able to make an impact on somebody with something about something, I don't know whether it be my story or whatever it be my words or my words of encouragement or my presence. um, I just literally hope and pray it. I mean, I could tell to millions and millions and millions of people, but like if it makes an impact on one person, that's great. It's just I think like um, I mean I know I'm different. I'm very unique. I'm very um, what's it called? I always like to include. I'm fearfully wonderfully made by Psalm 139, 13 through 14. I'm and fearfully wonderfully made by God Himself. But I just think it.
Absolutely. And you're unique. You are so unique, is so beautiful, so strong in so many ways. And God made us all different for a reason so that we could bring a different light to this world. You know, we're not the same for a reason.
I think so far lately, of course, like I say, I take it day by day. To be honest, a lot of things. I think talking to somebody like therapy wise is always. I know a lot of people think therapy, a shrink.
I hate that. I hate that stigma about therapy. Therapy is so important. Like, yes, go ahead and take yourself to therapy. I honestly want to take myself to therapy right now just to talk to someone outside my family and friends because it's just good to hear or to let your voice be heard by someone else that's not going to have like a biased opinion, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
no matter what you're going through, I think a therapist is like so important. So I hate that stigma, but continue, sorry.
yeah. So like, I know I went to a couple of therapists because of like, of course, about my autism, but majority of it because I was raped. Um, and I'm very particular who I talk to in therapy wise because I've had one time there was a therapist that I had to go to, and if I wanted to be released to out of something, whatever, out of a hospital, because to me, actually, I checked myself into a hospital one time because I felt like I was going through, and I realized I was going through a chronic depression for 12 years, and it was a stigma to when I was raped, and I was still but I hid it. But I hid it. So, um, and I went during when I missed the what's it called? I missed media day for the basketball team, so I missed that. I missed media day, so I didn't go. I missed a couple practices, and I realized a lot of the players were looking for me, like, "Where's Ashley? Oh, she probably have class." Second day, "Where's Ashley? Like, what's happening?" Third day, "Okay, where is Ashley?" Like, when I found this out through one of the girls that I was, helping with, they're like telling me how like, oh, they were looking for me. I was like, really? Y'all was looking for me? Like for real? And I end up explaining once I got released from like I left the hospital. Basically, like, this is what I did. Check myself in because I felt like I was going through a chronic depression. I was feeling suicidal. And the fact that I opened up in front of these kids that were like, in front of these girls who were like, I don't know, like, I'm just thinking, are they going to look at me differently? I mean, at this point, I shouldn't think like that, but you never know people's like attributes or anything like that anymore. So,
Mhm.
and but I remember this one there. I remember like I said, remember this therapist asked me one time, "So, how did you feel when you got raped?" Like, excuse me? How did you feel?
What?
Like, were you happy? Were you sad? I was like, did you really ask me how did I feel when I got raped? Like, did you really just ask me how did I feel? Like, was I happy? Was I sad? Did you really just, and I literally left the room when I literally like, this cannot be this.
Yeah.
This cannot be it. This can't be serious. This lady just literally asked me this. Like, you a therapist? You would just literally
Right.
like how I don't think.
So, yeah. But so you like to hear other people's stories, right? And do you feel like if other girls came to you and talked to you about this, would you be able to relate to them and kind of help them through it? And is that something that you want to do for young girls or anybody who's going through rape or sexual abuse?
Okay, so, ooh, um, I would love to hear people's like stories, like folks that have been through my shoes, so I could find a way to like say be very understanding. And of course, there's things that I may not understand, but I'm very helpful, very up to being showing empathy, which I am very empathetic. But still be there, regardless if I haven't gone through what they've gone through or anything like that.
Hmm.
I think just being like, well, let's say, try and think, um, maybe like a shelter or being someone's fortress or shield or being there for someone, being like a hearing aid or someone's ear to like just let it out. I think that would be great because um
Because you can relate to them and be like, hey, I've been through this same stuff and I know it's terrible, but I'm someone that you can confide in and can talk to. And maybe like vice versa. Um, I don't know if you like, do you feel more comfortable now, kind of like letting out your feelings and stuff? Maybe if someone was to open up to you.
I think it's a process, it's a step by step. It's
Yeah.
definitely like I can't like globally just like, hey, guess what? I'm just like, no.
No,
No.
absolutely
Mm-mm.
not.
Like
Yeah.
I can't do that to myself. I'm not gonna go meet a person that may be like, hey, so I just want to explain. No, no, I can't do that.
Right.
I have to literally, like, to be honest, for me, I had to literally trust you. Like, if I literally have to trust you, or like literally have to, like, okay, someone needs, like, to, like, a little bit, like, need somebody that can maybe a little understand more, or need somebody that can be heard, because clear like there's so many people, I feel like there's so many people out there that when they tell a story, or when they explain their situations, there's always those folks be like, I understand, I hear you, I understand, but, like, do they really understand? Like,
Are you
don't
really
tell
listening
me
though?
don't tell me you understand when you never been through it. Don't tell me you hear me when you never been through the exact same thing. Like, just the best thing you could do is just listen. You don't have to say, "Oh, I understand. Oh, I understand. Oh, I understand," when you clearly don't understand. And I think that's another thing, to be honest, in a way I feel like it's triggering, because some people, like I said, when some people may not been through the situation, but they'll say, "Oh, I understand," as a way like, "Okay, can we move on?" But it's like, why do you keep saying you understand when you don't understand? Why do you keep saying you hear me when you don't really hear me? Like,
Mm,
there's a difference between hearing someone and listening to someone. Like, hearing can go out one ear and out the other. Listening is actually taking notes and actually listening and hearing the emotions and everything. A lot of people sometimes
absolutely.
don't see the difference.
So listen, I hope people when they're listening to this, I hope they're listening, not just hearing. And I hope people are listening to your story, Ash, and really taking it to heart and realizing that this happens a lot more than it should. And to just be understanding of other girls that are going through this when they come to talk to you, or if they need someone to confide it in, like please be open to listening to them and helping instead of just hearing and, understanding, because like you said, Ash, are they really understanding? Like, let's make this something where we can open up about, talk about it, help girls get through this situation, help females in general just overcome these situations so that they can move on and be stronger from this, because things happen throughout our lives, but at the end of the day we want to be able to grow and become stronger because of this. And Ashley, I know that you are an extreme example of someone that's been able to go through so much but not let that affect you. And I mean, not let it affect you and bring you down in a negative way, because you're overcoming it, right? You're pushing through that wall and you're bringing awareness, which is amazing. And where you're at now is just incredible. And I'm sure that that man that hurt you, he is in a very dark place because he thought he was going to break you down, but he couldn't, sister. He could not break you down. And you are so much stronger because of that and your ability to overcome that situation. So I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm really proud of you. And I appreciate you being vulnerable and talking about your situation. And I know it's definitely not easy. I know it's not easy, but I want to let you know that you are amazing, and you inspire me every single day. And I'm so glad to hear your story, and I'm so glad that others are going to be able to hear your story as well, because we love to hear other girls' sports stories, yes, but it's important that we spread knowledge on these things that aren't usually talked about too. So I appreciate you, and I just love you so much.
Oh, I love you too. It's, you know what, I would say this. Uh, um, I just, in a way, hopefully, like I said, I just hope it just, if it inspires one person, if it makes an impact on one person or something, that's great, because that's always, I always, it's like I hope to make, if I can make someone smile, that's great. Like, my day has been made. I am so happy about that. Um, and I may have like I may think differently from others. Um, I mean, I will say that's also the autism aspect of myself is I think differently in certain ways. I think I my social cues and my communication cues are not intact at times.
Um, I just blurt stuff like Ash. I have no filter. I don't know if you noticed, but I have like no filter, which is
Oh,
like
you
bad
don't.
too. No, I
You
do
don't
not.
have a I think it's just I think I will say this too. I remember opening up to somebody the other a while back how like because like how asking them they were if they understood it or if they know about it, and they're like, and I'm thinking to myself like, um, you would think that they would like kind of heard about it because they're a psychology major, all that stuff, but then they're like, they felt like it's just a something that people just say or that it's just a it's just an age limit to it. And I'm thinking to myself, excuse me, hold up, wait a minute. When I found this, when I heard it, when I was told about it, I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna just, I'm gonna just excuse myself from this whole conversation, from this whole like my time and stuff, like just
Yeah,
throughout the whole. I was like, because I think the fact that this person said there's an age limit in autism, absolutely not. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Like, I've been diagnosed with autism since I was 5. That's the first, and when I was 5 is when I also learned how to play basketball. So, a lot of things is like, um, and I just want to clear this out too, because folks that think that there's a cure to autism, there's not. I'm sorry. There's no cure to autism. It's not. There's none. It's not a disease. I just want to let you know that it's not a disease. It's not something that you can catch. Doesn't not it doesn't work like that. It's just I would say that we think it's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of thinking. Um, it's just I would say they have a lot of them are very creative. A lot of them are very creative, very um but say not a lot of them, but majority of them are very smart. You're looking at someone that's been considered smart, very smart, and I have autism, but I've been considered very smart, but I'm
you are
not
very
gonna
smart.
I'm not gonna toot my horn on that. But we have I know I've been told I have a great memory. A lot of them do have great memories. They can memorize a lot of things. Um, they has interest wise, if it has they like to talk about specific interests about certain things. So, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, but if there's a specific interest they like, they will talk about it all day and every day and just know like try to help them out. But at least be very a lot of I just think like I believe kindness can go a long way. It just takes a little kindness can go a long way. Um, you know, just at least be empathetic and be very open because I know for me, I've been discriminated against before. I've been closed out. I've been isolated, and I don't want to have to experience those things. But I already know I mean, I already know in the real world, I'm probably going to experience those things still. But in the perfect world, I hope I don't ever experience those again. But once upon a time, I'm still here. Um, I am still here while I realize I'm still here while all the folks that have discriminated against me Or I don't know. I'm still here, y'all. Dun, dun, dun,
Right. She's still here.
dun.
Sh- you know that song by Beyonce? It's like, I was here. I did. I've done. I was here. Okay, no one else wants to hear me sing, but like literally, it's such a good song. And I was listening to it the other day and it kind of hit me. I was like, oh my God, I really want to make an impact because it's like I was here and I want people to know I was here to make a positive impact. And that's why we're here, Ash. Like literally, that's why we're here. Breaking the stigmas, like Ashley said, guys, you can't just catch autism in the air. It's not just like a disease. Please be understanding of people with disabilities and understand that, hey, they might actually be smarter than you sometimes. Sorry. Like, Ashley knows way more about a lot of different things than I do. And we complement each other because of that. But you can never write people off with disabilities because that's just a stigma. That's all it is. It's just a stigma. Baby, so get to know who you're talking to.
Iron sharpens iron, y'all. So iron sharpens iron.
Yes,
So
truth.
yes, I did quote Proverbs 27:17, y'all. So iron sharpens iron, friend sharpens, helps another friend. So yes, I did that.
Write it down. Yeah, she did that. Hey, our sis Ash is just amazing in so many ways, and I'm so glad that we were able to have this talk today. You're able to share your story and highlight the fact that autism is not, autism does not have an age limit, and there's so many things people don't know about it. This is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Autism Awareness Month. Please, 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 my friends, ask questions, be open, meet new people, and let's just break these stigmas. Let's accept, let's create a community, and let's be sisters together because who wouldn't want to like grow this community? So let's grow it together.
Yes. It is a
Yay.
sisterhood, though. It is a
It's a
sisterhood, though.
sisterhood.
It's a
It
sisterhood.
really
So
is. If you guys ever want to talk, ever want to like message us back and forth, have something to say about maybe sexual assault or autism or anything in this arena, we would love to talk with you guys. And Ashley, I know would love to hear your story and can relate with you all. And I can just be a listening voice. And we just want to make sure that this is a community where your voices are heard and you will not be pushed to the side, you will be embraced. So yeah, let's keep embracing one another, and we love all of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We'll be here every single Tuesday morning, and we love you guys. Love you, Ash.